I'll call this meeting to order at 9:30 and okay. Adoption of the public agenda. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Thanks. So I'll just bring up my chat here too. There we go. Okay, all those in favor? Sorry, is there anybody opposed? I'm not used to this format. This is the first time I've done this one, so is there anybody opposed? Okay, seeing none. Petitions and delegations. Apparently we have Tim Jones, Field Services Specialist of Recycle BC, will be making a presentation regarding Recycle BC. Tim, are you on right now? Yeah, do we have a second for moving receipt? Do we have a second?
Yeah, second.
Julie?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Sorry, is there anybody opposed? Okay. Do we have Tim Jones online right now?
Yeah, Tim here. Thank you.
Hi, Tim.
All right.
Yeah, feel free to move ahead with your presentation there.
Okay. You gotta bear with me here. Thank you. I appreciate making the time and giving me the opportunity to do a brief presentation. And I don't know if I have it up. I am remote now. I'm in the field on a way to a community visit. And if the slides don't come up, there we are. Thank you. Yes, Tim Jones with the Recycle BC. I am the field service specialist with Recycle BC and the First Nations Recycling Initiative. And that involves First Nations communities within BC doing visits and working with communities involving recycling programs and enhancing processes of recycling within communities. And we have a initiative, as I mentioned, the FNRI, First Nations Recycling Initiative, that we go into each community to support and work with communities that do a spring cleanup or a fall cleanup, one or both, and we arrange for transportation of the, I see the slides just came up. Thank you. Yes. With Recycle BC, I'll just touch on that as a nonprofit organization responsible for residential packaging and paper recycling throughout BC. Recycle BC ensures household materials are collected, sorted, and responsibly recycled. Our program is funded by over 1,200 businesses that include retailers, manufacturers, and restaurants that supply packaging and printed paper to BC residents, shifting costs away from the homeowner. And as I mentioned, this is my contact information. I'm the field service specialist, First Nations, Recycle BC. Thank you. And this is a app that's within the Recycle BC site that is useful for having on hand with your devices, whether it be phone, tablet, or computer, laptop. And it is used to engage with Recycle BC's information to discover various things on on site also particularly to find out what is and what is not recyclable within the program. With regards to FNRI, Recycle BC is a member of the BC First Nations Recycling Initiative created in 2017. 10 stewardship programs have come together to create a resource for Indigenous communities to make it easier to recycle household items such as tires, appliances, batteries, electronics, beverages, beverage containers, and packaging. This is a small example of some communities previously. Penticton, the Snoqualmie, Lake Babine, and West Bank, also Okanagan. Just a few examples of materials that had been collected, stockpiled during a collection, what we call a collection event, or a spring cleanup or a fall cleanup. And there is coordination and support by the FNRI to go in and help with coordinating where materials can be best situated for the transportation to come in and load those and take them away. And I thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I apologize for the brief presentation. I just wanted to be able to connect and engage with the regional district as I have done with other regional districts. For example, the regional district Mount Washington, and recently with the TNRD. Just to touch base regarding First Nations and Indigenous communities to do recycling. And anything relating to recycling that I can answer any questions. I'm going to have to excuse myself. As I mentioned, I'm in between en route, and please take my information and feel free to contact me regarding anything with Recycle BC, and also particularly First Nations communities in BC.
Okay, thanks for your presentation there, Tim. Do you have any time right now for questions, or do you want us to just forward them through email?
Yes, if you can forward them, that would be best. Again, I apologize. It's I appreciate the time. However, I wanted to sneak in very quickly, and if you please feel free to contact me anytime, and I will be happy to take any questions or have another meeting.
Sure. Can you just give us your email right now quickly so that we can just write it down?
Yes, that's T Jones.
Okay.
At recyclebc.ca.
And we have that. Yeah, we have that for anybody that wants it.
Yeah,
okay.
I have it on the information slide there. Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Tim, and have a good day. Appreciate
Take
that.
care. Have a good day.
Have a great day.
Okay, can we have a motion to receive
the report? Motion to receive the report.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
Second. I'm done.
Okay. Thanks, Colleen.
Mr. Chair, just
all those in favor? Sorry, anybody opposed?
No.
Okay.
Hey, wait.
Sorry?
Julie's typing.
Oh, okay. Well, just wait for Julie there.
She has a question.
Hi, is it just possible to have a couple of questions just to staff before we call this complete, or is that not appropriate for now?
I don't see why not. Hopefully staff can answer it, and if not, we'll just have to forward it on to Tim.
All good with me. I have a question.
So
too.
I'm just wondering, process-wise, I know that this is probably public information, and I know also that our the communities around here are served by ourselves, which in turn is the Comox Strathcona Waste Board. So I'm just wondering about for the information, and I know there's a recording of this meeting to the local First Nations here. I'm just wondering about kind of coordination and what that means, or if this should be maybe an invitation to come to the Solid Waste Board.
Okay, Dave, would you like to address that?
Well, we can certainly forward this to the Comox Strathcona Regional Solid Waste and ask them to reach out or to Tim to see if he's interested in putting on a presentation for the Solid Waste Board. I don't know if he already has, but that's not a bad idea.
Well,
Okay.
and as a follow-up, I'm just wondering about how that coordination would look, as most of the recycling and waste disposal is done by that that function. So I wouldn't want to step on anybody's toes, but I want to make sure that the appropriate information gets to the appropriate people. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. I see Director Abrams has a question.
You're muted,
Jeff.
Jim.
Muted.
Sorry, I was not muted and then I muted it. Okay, yeah, sorry for the screw up. The question I would have is this a duplication of initiatives since we are, partially or mostly in cahoots with Recycle BC? Are they doing this separately with Indigenous communities, or is it being done through things like our Solid Waste Board? Because it seems kind of silly to do two programs if there's, economy of scale doing one.
Well, if I can, Mr. Chair, I think we have a lot of questions around that. Like, I'm unfamiliar. It looks like he has an affiliation with Recycle BC. And I know Kevin's joined, and just wondering through Kevin if he knows that, is this an initiative that Recycle BC approaches the First Nation with, or is First Nation aware of it, or like, do you know how this works?
Hey there, thank you. No, I'm actually not aware of how this works. It is, it's new to me, but
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
Could I just ask who guessed this?
Who gets this?
No, there, who was just speaking?
Oh, it's Kevin Jules.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kevin,
okay. Hi, Kevin. No, I just see you down as guest, so I just wanted to know who was in on the meeting.
yes. Good morning.
Yeah. Morning. Yeah, I have a question. Does anybody know what happens in Cayuga? Oh, well, now my phone's going off. I'm just wondering if they have a recycling program there, or how they deal with their solid. Anybody answer that question?
There's a garbage and recycling days in Cayuga where we have members in our nation that go around our place and collects the garbage or recycling, and there's a place up the hill where it is taken,
Okay.
into sorted into bins.
So, Mr. Chair, it seems like maybe we all have quite a few questions and not a lot of knowledge and history on this. Maybe what we could do is contact Tim, and when he has more time, is you have a more fulsome question and answer period with him, so he can fill us in on some of the details. As well, we can forward it to the Comox Strathcona Regional Board to see if they are interested in receiving a presentation, because I think there's a lot of questions around this, and we don't have a lot of history or background on it.
Okay. I guess I could get in touch with them directly and see if they'd be willing to entertain a presentation by Tim. That'd be great. Is there any other questions or comments? Oh, I see Julie's typing.
No, I don't like. I think we can communicate with Comox Strathcona and Tim on our own. So I think that's just direction is fine, Julie.
Okay, so if you would like to follow up with that, Dave, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, can do.
Okay, thanks. Okay, moving on to adoption of previous minutes. Can somebody move that?
So moved.
Okay. Jim moved to seconder. Do we have a seconder? Okay, thank you. Are there any issues with the minutes? If not, is there anybody opposed to moving the minutes? Okay, we'll consider those adopted. On to business arising from minutes. Okay, there's nothing there. Chair's reports. Okay. So I'm happy to note the pending full membership of the Cayuga Checklisset First Nations on the Strathcona Regional District Board after an 8-year process, which included legislative member Kevin Jules as an observer, a non-voting member of our board. We look forward to working with the nations as our first full-fledged Indigenous representation on the board and hope that in time all our local First Nations will have seats at the board. On August 31st of this year, Hayubidat, also known as Chief Norman George, left us. He was a Moachat hereditary chief. I had the honor of attending his memorial service at Sahana, representing Tassis, on September 5th. My only introduction to him was at a joint meeting of our councils in Tassis last year, and I wish there had been more time to get to know him. His memorial was very emotional for all. During the service, which was held outdoors due to COVID restrictions, a flock of eagles circled overhead for the duration of the meeting. So that's my chair's report. Do I need a motion to adopt that?
To receive.
Sorry, receive.
Motion to receive your report.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. On to staff reports. Item number 1, status of Cayuga Checklisset First Nation on the regional board. Dave, would you like to speak to this?
I will. You gonna vote on receipt?
Sure.
Move receipt of the report.
Do we have a second? Okay. Julie seconds.
And
All those in favor? Sorry. Well, is there anybody opposed? It's going to take me the whole meeting to get used to this because, like I said, this is the first time I've done the reverse ascent. So
that's okay. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a little update on our meeting with the Cayuga Nation. We have 4 requests from the nation of their intention to join the regional district. So that's attached to this. And as most, if not all of you participated in the workshop we had, that's kind of kicked off our public part of our, well, it was in camera, but our process for having the First Nation join and starting to go through all the details of the local government and the First Nation and what it's going to take for them to join. So it was just an opportunity for us to meet each other, albeit virtually. The First Nation was here mostly in person, which was great, and to kind of get to know each other, talk about high-level issues about what services the nation is required to join, the opportunity for them to join, the timelines for them to join, and then to introduce the group to moving forward with the process that will be working with the province and the nation and the board for the next 6 months, I guess, in anticipation of them joining as a full member come April 1st, 2021. On the heels of that, too, I also want to say that I think this is only our first or second meeting of the First Nations Relations Group this year. Obviously, there's COVID and a number of other issues that have come along. But the regional district has just this week hired our strategic initiatives manager, and their first task will be to hire the First Nations Relations Coordinator that the board supported in the 2019 budget again, but was delayed obviously because of COVID. So we will soon have a First Nations Relations Coordinator that will help facilitate the First Nations meetings, create agendas, and work plans for this group. So that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Free to answer any questions.
That's great. Thanks, Dave. And I really appreciate that we'll soon have a coordinator online to help with our tasks here. I see Director Abrams has a comment. Jim?
Yes, thank you, Martin. First of all, 2 points. First of all, the first one is, I think Dave answered it. So my understanding from the presentation that we had the other day at the COW meeting and the pamphlet that we have is that the full voting member will start April 1st, 2020, and Kevin will continue as the observer, from now until then. And then I don't know what the process will be at that point, if there will be another member picked or if Kevin will continue, but welcome if he does. Secondly, Dave, could you please possibly send around just a short bio of the new strategic initiatives coordinator to all directors so that we can see who has been hired and what their job description is.
Okay, thanks for that, Jim. And you noted that, Dave, and you'll be doing that?
I'm not sure I'm going to send around their job description. I will certainly introduce the person, but I'm not sure the need for a job description, but it will be my full intention when she starts to introduce her to the board for sure.
Okay, thanks for that.
If I could follow up, Martin.
Sure.
I'm not really concerned about her job description per se. Just the fact that we had a strategic initiatives coordinator, and I'm just wondering if it's a similar job that can be said, it's a similar job, but I would like to have some sort of a bio. I don't think that's unreasonable to ask for.
Sure. Well, we'll talk about her history when we have a quick introduction at a board meeting for sure.
Okay, thanks for that. Is there any further questions before we move on? Okay, seeing none. H2, relationship building, resource materials. Does our CAO want to speak to this?
You got to vote on receipt.
Sure.
Receipt.
Motion received. Okay. Moved by Colleen, seconded by Julie. Thank you.
And I'll let Tom speak to this.
All those in favor? All those, sorry. Is there anybody opposed? Okay, moving right along, Dave.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So really, this report is really for the committee's information, talking about the process in a little more detail as we move forward. As the CEO mentioned, over the next few months, We are building a number of things, one of which is attached to this particular report. We'll see a few others come along as time progresses and more information becomes available regarding services and cost sharing of services and process around letters patent, et cetera. So it's really just to introduce the committee to the in a bigger picture to the process that staff will be going through to build materials to support this process. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for that, Tom. I see Colburn has a comment.
Yeah, I really appreciate this. I think it's laid out well. I especially appreciate the terminology. I know that in the past we may have used some outdated terms that are not correct. And also the forward for the length of pronunciations. It's really important that I think we get these kinds of things right, as well as service provision and all of the other things that go along that's contained within this document. So I just really appreciate the getting it to us and the hard work that has gone into getting it here. So will we refer this on to then the full board, or will this be contained in our next meeting of the full board that is talking about this topic, which I'm sure there will be more of?
Dave, would you like to address this?
We certainly can. Now, some committees have, mixed opinions about, what we kind of keep to that committee's decisions and then bringing to the board. So I really think it's up to this committee if this is something that they want to, share or wants to be shared with the board. I'm certainly open with that. I don't have any issue with that. So if that's the committee's will, absolutely.
Are you looking for a subsequent regarding that?
Yeah, I think that wouldn't hurt, that this information be, brought and presented forward to the board as well. And the only reason I say that is that some of the committees want to retain some of this information and dialogue until we get to a certain point, and some of the committees are, happy to move it along to the board. So I just want to, make this committee where it's up to them really. If that's what they choose, I'm happy with that. So.
Okay, I see Director Evans has a comment and a motion.
Yes, thank you. Julie pretty much captured what I was going to say. I found it a very respectful document in terms of recognizing that there are some learnings and some opportunities to provide additional information to each of us to bring us all up to speed. So we have a common understanding of, again, the roles and the correct pronunciation, the link that allowed us to go and just even practice how we're speaking and pronouncing the various First Nations names. I think was really beneficial. So I really appreciated the report. Because they're going to be a full member of the SRD board, I think our full board would appreciate the opportunity to have access to this information early on. I don't see any reason to retain it just within the First Nations committee. So I am putting a motion forward that we move this report, or we provide this information to the full board.
Okay, thanks for that, Colleen. Do we have a seconder? Waiting on a seconder there.
Julie's
Could I make a
typing.
comment, please?
Sure.
We have a
Okay,
second.
we have a seconder from Director Kerr. Okay, thank you.
This was at the committee of the whole meeting. As I recall, the committee of the whole is the whole board, and it does make recommendations to the board. So I would imagine that when we go to the committee of the whole minutes, this will most likely be or have already been submitted to the whole board. Am I correct, Tom?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, not quite correct. There was reference in the presentation at the Cal meeting to this particular document under construction. What you are seeing today is really the final version and the first public, if you will, display of the final version of this document. So it has not really been shared in its current form with the board.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I see Dave mentioning that Kevin has his hand up. Director, oh, sorry, not a director yet. Observer, Jules, would you like to speak to this?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say that this document is amazing, and I just wanted to point out that I really like the one section, the terms and terminology, where it shows the commonly used incorrect terms and the correct terms. I think that's amazing. I mean, just seeing that in here and being acknowledging that we are a treaty nation and that we are our own nation, and how we don't call ourselves an Indian band or a band office anymore. I think I just wanted to point out that's amazing. And thank you guys.
Yeah, I also found it really useful, and it is good to clarify these things right off the bat, including pronunciations, because pronunciations tend to get carried on wrongly if that becomes a common usage. So it's good to clear it up right from the beginning. Yeah, I see Julie mentioning that was in camera. So, Dave, you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just on the heels of that, when I said the committee withholding, the whole planet sometimes of bringing this stuff forward is that if this kind of stuff initiates some thought or resolution that, I don't know, for training or whatever it may be that the committee might have, that they may put a resolution forward to the board. So, I had a good chat with Kevin and Cynthia after our workshop, and exactly what we're talking about is, terminology that we've all used for years that is no longer being used, in pronunciations. So again, just leaving with the committee their ability or opportunity that if they see material like this and think there is some opportunity, whether it be for training or more education or more production of more materials, it's an opportunity for you to make a resolution and or keep something within the committee till you're comfortable to forward it to the board. But again, all options are up to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I certainly find that this sort of resource material useful going down the road. It should be something that should be built into a lot of documents so that there is clarity in these sort of issues. So we have a motion on the floor. Is there any other comments on the motion before we vote? Okay, seeing none, is there anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. So moving on to correspondence, New Westminster and Silcoton Nation Sister Community Agreement. Okay, we have a motion from Director Colburn for receipt. Do we have a seconder?
Second.
Is there anybody opposed?
Colleen
Okay.
is typing.
Sorry?
Oh no, I just see there's a new feature, I guess Teams has introduced, that you can see if somebody's typing. That seems
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have seen that, and then sometimes it disappears, I guess, when they retract what they're typing. Does anybody want to speak to this? Okay, so moving along, no director's reports, no new business, no addendum items, no closed session. Entertain a motion to terminate.
So moved.
Okay. Seconder from Director Evans. Okay, thanks everybody. We'll talk to you in a couple of hours then.